So I'm a revert Muslim, and as I grow in Islam, I've been challenging myself to read at least one verse from the Quran a day. And this is the verse that I got today. Indeed, with hardship there will be ease. And with everything that's been going on lately, this is a really good reminder for me, and probably is for a lot of you as well. So let's break this verse down real quick. Now, this is such a good verse for depression, anxiety, stress, things of that nature. It carries a profound message of hope and reassurance to remind us that no matter the difficulties we face, ease will accompany them. Allah's wisdom teaches us that trials are often paired with relief to help us grow in our faith. So I don't know about you, but this verse is a really good one for me when my heart starts to feel heavy with everything that's happening in the world right now. Sometimes it's good to just stop and take a moment and reflect that there is still good in the world. And no matter what hardships you go through, Allah will deliver you from them and provide for you. And that sentiment is one of the few things that keeps me going lately. So just try to remember this when life gets hard. Wearing the hijab in today's world is an act of resistance against the rising tide of Islamophobia, against a political landscape that seeks to erase or vilify Muslim identities. It is not just a piece of cloth. It is a powerful statement in the face of violence, discrimination, and fear. In a world that often tries to define us, the hijab becomes a shield, not of oppression, but of empowerment. It has become a symbol of defiance, an assertion of autonomy over one's body and beliefs. Choosing to stand proud in one's faith despite the hate is, in its essence, a revolutionary act, one of dignity, strength, and survival. I was not ready to put on the hijab when I did, and it took me a long time to feel ready, even as I was wearing it. But I did it anyway. And I know there are so many girls who are struggling to feel ready right now, so I just want to share a little bit about my hijab journey. And the story isn't about finding perfection or certainty, it's about struggle and growth and doing something before I felt prepared for it. So I just want to share what pushed me and what I felt and what I've learned basically since making that choice for myself. Because maybe there's someone out there who feels the exact same way that I did. So when I first started wearing hijab consistently, it was Ramadan 2024, so a little over a year ago now. And honestly, initially it was more of like a test or a challenge for myself to see if I could do it during Ramadan. And I didn't have the intention in myself at that time to continue after Ramadan. I should have, but I didn't. And so I began posting online kind of to document my progress as my first Ramadan as a Muslim revert. And I didn't really have a big following. I had maybe 20,000 followers, but during this month, that grew, and there were a lot more eyes on me. Eyes that didn't know that I didn't wear hijab regularly, and with that came a certain level of responsibility. Because around this time, there were a lot of online conversations about influencers who removed hijab and how it impacted their viewers. There were people who looked up to them who felt that they couldn't any longer or felt discouraged because if she couldn't do it, how could they? And I got really scared seeing that because I knew the intention in my heart was to take it off too. And I saw how that hurt other women. So I made a conscious choice to leave it on, at least in front of the cameras. I still wasn't ready, but my personal struggles were my own and no one needed to see that. No one needed to see that I was having a hard time too, that I was afraid to wear it in front of my friends, afraid to wear it in front of my family. And I felt in some ways like I was living a double life, like I was both the person people saw on screen and looked up to, and at home I was still a sinner, I guess. And I had a hard time reconciling both of these concurrently existing identities. But feeling that pressure to keep up appearances for the sake of others slowly but surely pushed me into being ready. It realigned my intentions in a way. I took baby steps, for sure, one step at a time, but eventually I felt confident enough to wear it every time I went out by myself, and then every time I went out with my friends, and then even in front of my family. And it's only been a few months now, but I can happily say I'm at the point now where it no longer feels difficult. And not only am I past the point of feeling ready, I'm actively doing it every single day. So even if you don't feel ready, just give it a try. You might surprise yourself. Even if it's not perfect, even if you're not, just start and go one step at a time. Because one day you'll look back and realize every baby step took you miles further from where you started. And each step will start to feel so easy. You'll wonder how it ever felt so difficult to just take that first one. Can you tell me, what is the difference between these two women, and why do we condemn one head covering but not the other? In Western society, hijab is often viewed with suspicion, labeled as oppressive, backwards, or even threatening. Yet the nun's veil, a similarly religiously decreed covering, is viewed as a symbol of devotion and piety. Despite their different perceptions, however, these two veils have very similar roots. Because head coverings are not unique to Islam, they are present in the teachings of Christianity and Judaism as well. So to get a deeper understanding, I asked Dean Buddy, an Islamic AI, to explain the similarities and differences between Islamic head coverings and the coverings of other people of the book. In Islam, head coverings for women such as hijab and niqab are seen as a symbol of modesty and identity. They help to identify us as Muslims. And the Quran emphasizes the importance of modesty not just for women but for men too. Allah instructs believing women to draw their veils over themselves to protect their dignity, and men are instructed to cover their aura as well. In traditional Christian communities, women would cover their heads during worship as a sign of respect and submission, inspired by teachings in the Bible. Additionally, Jewish women also wore head coverings as a sign of modesty or married status. So I followed up by asking for specific verses. What textual evidence do we have that Christian women did veil? One notable passage is from 1 Corinthians 11:5 and 6, where it's mentioned, "But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovers dishonors her head." And this is not dissimilar from Quran verses about modesty in Surah An-Nur, which says, "Tell the believing women to reduce some of their vision and guard their private parts and not expose their adornments." Given the historical and spiritual context, these two veils are not dissimilar. Hijab is fundamentally about empowerment for many women. It's meant to embody modesty, dignity, and a deep connection to your faith, to portray yourself as a Muslim. And how could there ever be anything wrong with proudly showing one's devotion? Every now and again, my content gets found by raging Islamophobes. And one of the things they say all the time is, "Who let you speak?" Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do you mean? Alhamdulillah, He blessed me with vocal cords. He blessed me with a voice box. He blessed me with the capacity and willingness to speak. So subhanallah, I am going to use my voice to speak my opinions and speak out against injustice every single time. Your negative biases and misconceptions about Islam do not negate my rights as a woman. Women are allowed and permitted to educate and be educated. Acquisition of knowledge is binding on all Muslims, both men and women, without discrimination. So as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me with the ability to speak up and educate others, I'm going to use it. And you can stay mad about it.